Hey guys, it's Dredile here, and I wanted to make a quick video about my top 3 favorite mods of all time. You might have slept on some of these mods, you might not know about some of them, but anyone who knows me knows that I'm a sucker for horror mods, so like 2 out of 3 of them are horror mods. So if you're into that kind of thing, you found the right place because I got some gems here. Paranoia. This is a Half-Life 1 mod, and it's a little bit older, but it's still a fantastic mod. Essentially, you're a Russian soldier dispatched to an old facility where terrorists have taken over and are advancing their position into this old, unused tunnel beneath the facility. After neutralizing the surface threat and following them into the tunnels, you come across a pretty dark premise. That beneath the facility, there's this abandoned laboratory that had been experimenting with genetic modification in humans, and it was discontinued by the government. And this program was called the CROT program, and it lies at the heart of the story, and the entire game builds into this scene where you have to enter these laboratories, these old abandoned Russian laboratories just full of zombies, essentially. And it's the feel and the suspension and the atmosphere of that buildup is just top notch in my opinion, and Paranoia is just fantastic in regards to its story, which I found to be very interesting. There's always a narrative, something's going on, the characters are kind of interesting. And what carries the story as well in between is the gameplay, which is actually fantastic as well, unlike a lot of horror modifications, which just have the most boring, useless, contrived gameplay, where it's either too hard or it's just, there's not enough, and it can get a little bit bad. But Paranoia totally nailed its gameplay. The atmosphere is absolutely fantastic, and if you like that kind of a dark, gritty shooter, which also has some horror elements, then you really need to play Paranoia. And next up, my second favorite mod of all time, you've likely heard of this one, is Research and Development. It's a puzzle mod set in the Half-Life 2 universe. Where you basically at some kind of a strange processing research and development facility. You wake up, you basically have to escape, and that's basically where the story ends, to be honest with you. But the story practically being non-existent gets totally compensated by the storytelling. And that's where I think Research and Development shines, is that everything that made Half-Life great, Research and Development has also done, except for just strictly puzzles and with the gravity gun. You're always doing something. Every puzzle is reactive. You immediately see the results in the environment, and it's fun to see the cause and effect of some of the really brilliant puzzles that have been set up by the developer. I mean, as you can see with some of the footage. One of my favorite puzzles actually is really early on, where you have a zombie in a kind of a glass container, and it's there's like biogas in it, so if it breaks, you die. And you're trying to maneuver it through these conveyor belts so it goes out the door and kills all these zombies outside. And you have to do a couple of little basic physics puzzles and, you know, timing, and eventually it goes out there and boom, it takes him out. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, got him. You know, the mapping, the detailing is all pretty great and just brings you in to the world even more, which is a fun world. And everything's laid out logically, using things that you would know from your real life. There's color puzzles where you have to put boxes in the color and order of the rainbow. You have to follow the wires in order to learn the numbers on a color-coded keypad. There's physics weight-based puzzles, all of which translate to real life really easily and don't require a lot of abstract thinking, and it's just great. Fun mod, just fun. So if you're into puzzle games and Half-Life, then Research and Development is for you. And last but not least is my favorite mod of all time. This is one that has really gone under the radar in my opinion, and not a lot of people have played it, but it is such a gem, and it's kind of a cult classic for some of the older Half-Life 2 modders out there. Like I just love it. I'll shut the hell up. Flesh. So Flesh is a third-person Half-Life modification, which is a little interesting. And it just has you playing as a normal dude who's out driving his car on some back roads one night, listening to an old radio, when his car crashes near a dead body. Dun dun dun. So you, the player, go into the woods, you're looking for help, and eventually you come across the dark evil Blair estate, and the mansion and its surrounding area is just steeped in the occult. Ghouls are lumbering around, killing all the living they see, and the backstory of this mod is just beautiful. It's about this guy named Blair whose wife died, and he owned this big fancy estate that he probably inherited from his father, from Bruce Wayne, or whoever the hell. But his wife dies, his unbegotten true love, and he does anything he can to try and bring her back, include delving into the occult. He starts ordering all these old tomes, all these crystals, and doing all these rituals, which eventually he cracks through to the other side and meets these spirits called the Wandering Race, which take over and basically occupy the bodies of a lot of the estate workers. So the mansion's gone to shit, and you get stuck in there, and you're trying to unravel this really deep, mysterious story. And it is blanketed in the deep, rich atmosphere of this mod. I mean, the level designer, just the lighting, the way everything's laid out, each chapter kind of has its own feel to it, and the music just goes along perfectly. So it builds this world, it builds this mood, this atmosphere, and this feeling where it's a stealth game, but it feels like a mystery game and a horror game all kind of combined into one. It has an interesting system where you can hijack ghouls' vision, so you can see the pattern they're running in, so you can sneak around them. And all the puzzles are just simple, but perfect fitting for an abandonment or like a mansion in ruins. Like, you gotta change the clock to the right time, and find notes and tomes, and it's just a fun, interesting story, and it's just a rich atmosphere, and you will love it if you're into that kind of a thing. So absolutely play Flesh. 100% recommend it. That's my personal favorite mod. Maybe not everyone will like it, but I guarantee you, just for the story and the music alone, you will love playing Flesh. Anyways, so that's some of my favorite mods for Half-Life 2. If you have a favorite mod, post it down below in the comments. I'd love to read about it, and maybe I'll play it, because I need more mods to play. But I'm a horror guy, so keep it to the horror. That's horror with 3 R's, not horse. Horse? I said horse. Anyways, hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And as always, bye!